Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Wind came through and just dumped a bunch of snow out of the trees. Do it for yourself. If you are out there trying to impress others by the things that you are doing, you are setting yourself up for horrible disappointment. How do I know this? Because I've been there. What we currently have is a society, much described like in Fight Club, where people spend money to buy things to impress people they don't like. And it's just a rotating formula. People just keep doing the same thing over and over again. We see this with houses, with cars. You can find the videos on YouTube of the people talking about what their monthly car payment is. Car payment plus insurance. Can't get that loan unless it's got full coverage, which is usually just a mirror image of whatever the actual car payment is. If your car payment is $600 a month, you've got $1,200 going towards your car every month. And why? Are you actually happy with that car? Did that car get you laid? And was it worth it? At what point is you paying for your status symbol? When is that just another form of just prostitution, right? Well, this is the quality of women that I want to get with. And she won't sleep with me unless I've got a 2024 or newer fill in the blank. Spending all that money for somebody who, oh, your car's kind of out of date now, and I just met this other guy. He's got the new SUV version, the 2026. It's not even out yet, but he's got one. I'm leaving you. You're so 2023. Okay. If you're trying to attract shitty quality people, you're going to get shitty quality in return. So what you really need to be looking at is, what do you like? There was a guy recently posted a video about how he had a YouTube channel where it was all about Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if it was about the card game or if he was selling the cards or if he was explaining how, I have no idea. But he had a Yu-Gi-Oh! Based YouTube channel. His rent was paid, didn't need a car because he worked out of home. He could just walk down the street and get groceries when he was hungry. His bills were paid, right? And yet, his girlfriend, who somehow ended up becoming his wife. This is what I don't understand. They're dating. She knows he has a Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel. This is his main source of income. And he's able to take care of himself just by doing that. And yet they get married, and she says to him that this is not a respectable way of earning an income. Now keep in mind, she's living with him. Rent is paid. There's no bills that are overdue. He's providing food and shelter for her. And yet she has a problem with how he makes a living. He's not making videos for Corn Hub, okay? there's seriously nothing wrong with what it is that he's doing. It's a hobby that he is able to make money from. It is the wet dream of YouTube, right? But no, she convinces him to give it up. He ends up selling the channel to somebody else. He sells all of his Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and he couldn't find a job afterwards that paid the bills like he was able to do before. All because she had a status issue with what he was doing. So he goes to her after a few months of this bullshit and says, look, these are the jobs that I'm getting offers for. This is how much I'm bringing in, working 40 hours a week, doing this shit that I don't like to make less money than I was making on the channel. And then because things started going wrong at that point, that is when she was like, maybe you should start doing the Yu-Gi-Oh thing again. So he starts up, but he's got to do everything from the bottom up. I think he ends up buying back his old channel. I think that was one thing he ended up doing. So he wasn't starting from the very bottom, but with the cards, yes. He was starting from scratch. He had sold his collection. So then he had to get that up and running again. But then as soon as he was doing that, and the bills were paid, same bleeping thing. She had an issue with it. I can't be telling my friends that you do a Yu-Gi-Oh YouTube channel. Why does he give a fuck about your friends? Why do you? Why do you care as to how your friends think about his channel? This shit makes no sense to me. It's about status. I don't give a fuck about your status. All these women complain about their happiness. I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? Nothing is changing. Why am I not happy? You ever consider that it's you? Because that dude was happy before you came along. He had his shit together. He wasn't behind on bills. He wasn't working some fucking miserable job. Were you jealous? Is that what it was? He gets to just sit at home and play with his Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and he makes money off of doing that. How dare he? Oh, I've come across so many of those bitches. What do you mean you just go home and write at night? What else am I going to do? Nobody here will date my ass. When I get invited out, everyone leaves with somebody else except me. Why shouldn't I just stay home and save my money and enjoy a hobby where I might actually be able to make a career out of it? Who are all these other people to tell you what is appropriate to do with your life and what is not? My main question with this dude is, was she hot? Like, what was it? What was it about this woman that she was able to gripe and bitch about what you do for a living? She marries you knowing this. Then she tries to convince you that you need to do something else because of how she felt about it, knowing this is what you did for a living when you met. Was it the T? Was it the A? What was it about this chick? Was she a freak? I don't know. The point I'm getting at is, if you have a Yu-Gi-Oh channel and you're making money off of it to where that is your main source of income, life is good for you. You enjoy what you do. You work from home. You are fed and happy. Maybe you should find a chick who's in the Yu-Gi-Oh or doesn't give a shit. That's how you make your living. Status women, avoid them like the plague. Anybody who ever watched a single episode of Sex and the City, avoid them like the plague. If they have any purses with a name brand on it, avoid them, okay? The only person you should care about making happy is yourself. And if somebody is expecting you to make them happy for them, run. Because guess what? It's not going to work. Doesn't matter what you do. You could solve that problem. They're still going to have a problem. Because the problem isn't you. The problem isn't the thing that they wanted you to solve in order to bring them happiness. No. The problem is them and the fact that they don't try or give a shit about their own happiness to change whatever the fuck it is that they're doing. Do they drink? Do they smoke weed? Do they do anything involving depressants on a regular basis? And then they complain about how they're not happy. There's some clues there. There's some signs. And then when you bring it up, how dare you? It's the only thing that brings me happiness. Then why are you never fucking happy? Really? Focus on yourself. Get yourself to where you want to be. When you look in the mirror, do you say to yourself, that's a guy I want to hang out with. That's a guy who looks like he could kick some ass. That's a guy who takes care of himself. I know there's some people that they do the whole like, look in the mirror and ask yourself, would you do you? I'm not into that. That's like the dumbest phrase I've ever heard somebody say. No. Are you the best version of yourself that you could possibly be? That you'd be happy with? If not, I think you have a goal now. Try to become that dude. That's the one that people want to hang out with, want to be around. And there will be those assholes, and a lot of them are people you already know, who will try to destroy you for doing that. Because it makes them feel bad. It makes them feel lazy. They wish they could do the same thing, which they could. They definitely could. If they got off their ass and actually had some motivation and some self-respect. But no. Instead, they will try to bring you down because it is easier to bring you to their level so that they feel normal than to try to keep up with you. Focus on yourself because everybody else sucks.